again for joining us. Ever since I attended the LAMP conference down in Orlando this past year, there's one speaker that just keeps on coming to mind. His name is Anthony Gailey. Now, I had met Anthony about 5 or 10 years ago, and matter of fact, I even read his book. But it wasn't until that I saw him actually, quote unquote, perform on stage at the LAMP conference in front of 2,000 people that his message really sunk in. Anthony Gailey is a hypnotist, and I watched him pick a group of people out of 2,000 to come up on stage voluntarily and go through this exercise. These are very highly successful people, including one senior vice president of a major company. What I'd like you to do is take a look at a couple of his excerpts from this very show. Take a look.
Wide awake, right? You heard me, they're in control, they're alert, they're focused, they're wide awake. Sir, are you hypnotized right now? Good, sleep. Wait, 5, 4, sleep, deep, sleep, loosen. Eyes open, count 5 on your own. Wide awake. Let's do a little test. Pick a spot and look at it. I'll tell you what, you can stay awake for 10 seconds, I'll give you $10. Fair enough? Take as long as you need, nod your head when you want the 10 seconds to start. Beautiful, sleep. Wait, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, loosen like a rag doll, all the way down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you ever have a battle between your conscious and your subconscious mind, which part do you think's going to win out? You could be an overeater who looks at a second piece of cake saying, I'm not going to eat it. If your subconscious mind says you always eat 2 pieces of cake, you're going to eat that cake.
You're probably wondering, what does that have to do with activity management in my profession? Well, take a look at this next excerpt, and then I'll be able to wrap it up for you.
Does it make sense to you if we could change the image, we are likely to change the response? Currently, the image is loose, limp, and relaxed. Were we to alter that image, would you expect a different response? Well, in a nutshell, that's what this is all about. Take a producer who's focused on making $150 a year, get them to start focusing on making $250 a year, and don't be surprised if their sales numbers start to rise. Take an average manager and start to see themselves as a superior manager. Don't be surprised if they will start attracting to them a stronger, more dynamic team. That's what we're talking about. So let's just change the image and see what happens. This gentleman would be a good example. He's loose and limp and relaxed, but watch what happens. As I extend your arm, I want you to imagine your arm is becoming stiff and rigid as a bar of steel welded to your shoulder. Stiff and rigid, more stiff, more rigid. I'm going to count back from 3 down to 1 with each number. It's going to get more stiff, more rigid, and so rigid and stiff that by the time I reach the number 1, you'll discover you can't lower or bend that arm. In a nutshell, this is what my talk is all about. This is a visual representation of how we have changed the picture in the guy's mind from loose and limp to stiff and rigid, and it has resulted in an alteration in the way he's behaving.
That's the point that really got me. It's about the power of visualization. Now, I grew up knowing that we become what we think about. But here I watched Anthony Gailey prove it to everyone right up on stage. If you ever have a chance to see one of his performances or watch his videotapes, I highly recommend it, because it can really jumpstart your career by using this concept of visualization to take your career to the next level. Thanks again for joining us. See you next week.